Okay, so we're live with your questions and answers about mediumship. Feel free to join me on this live feed. I hope you're all doing well. Just sharing it around, getting ready here. It's a lovely day. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So enjoy your day, and it's good to have you here. So just sharing to a few places. If anyone's got any questions about mediumship, please put them in here. Feel free to join me. And yep, so that's all good. I hope you're all doing well. Feel free to join me. So welcome to this question and answers about mediumship, and if you see this video, please feel free to share it with people. I'm still trying to work out how this Facebook thing works, but so you work with the technology, what you can do. So feel free to put your questions and answers in here. I hope you're all well. I hope this finds you well, and obviously, we're doing this for you. I have a few questions that people have written in here, and I just wanted to let you know. Hi there, people that are just joining me. I can see you are arriving. So it's good to have your questions ready when we start. I am a little bit early. Oh, just about on time. So that's all part of it. Okay. I should have someone doing this for me, really. But there you go. So welcome everything. I think more people have arrived now. So if I can get on this one. Yeah. Then I can see your questions. Okay, welcome everyone. Nice to see you all arriving. The first question I've got about mediumship is, can you address the timing in life when you choose to develop your ability in mediumship? And one of the things I know about this is it happens when your soul is ready for it to happen. It will unfold when your soul is ready for it to unfold. And that's what I know about this part. Like when I look at my mediumship, and I know I've got plenty of other colleagues, they may have been aware of the spirit world in their younger years, but they had to get us to a certain age when the soul was ready to make the progression in mediumship. So, and that's with everyone is different. So you've got to remember that, everyone's progression in life spiritually, but everyone's progression in life is different. So when you're ready to do mediumship, it's for everyone different. I've got another question here. What is the best way to begin grooming oneself as a medium? Well, if you're looking at grooming yourself as a medium, it depends what you'd like to achieve. I like to take things step by step and just feel like, okay, so if you want to learn mediumship, take some courses, either, if you can in places, and feel like, get in a development group or get into a circle or your own spiritual church. But grooming yourself, it depends what you're grooming yourself for. But when you think about it, it's progression. So don't think you're just going to go in mediumship, you're going to do 1 week mediumship and suddenly you're going to be here with it. You just got to think, okay, it's something that you've got to work at. It's something that you've got to progress with, take courses, go to practice groups. It's basically a couple of factors. One factor is sit in the power every day, which is, I'll put a link in here to when I was talking about the power, but it's like on my YouTube. But the power is very important because that helps with development and raising your frequency, and developing your mediumship in the way that you can connect to the spirit world. So that's one factor. The other one is taking lessons, learning about it, going to lectures, maybe at the Arthur Findlay or the Barbanel or SNUI or wherever you can go. Then you're learning information and you're also seeing how things should be done. So it's learning. You're learning on different levels, and then practice. The more you practice, the more it's going to get easier for you to work. And those three things combined will help you with what this person asked me, which was grooming yourself for mediumship. Another question: is there a certain amount of time you must wait before contacting a loved one that has passed to the spirit world? No, there isn't. As far as I'm concerned, with my own people that I've had contact with them in the spirit world, the moment that they had passed, I was aware of them. I know also a lot of colleagues, mediums, that have brought through people the very next day that they've passed, and the next day they've brought them through. The most quickest that I've brought one through is probably a week later. It was very needed, the contact. It's possible. So this question about, is there a certain amount of time needed? No, there isn't. The moment that they're in the spirit world, they can communicate. And all the people that I've had pass to the spirit world, which is quite a few, all of them have communicated in their own way to me within the same day or that same evening that they passed. And so I know communication is possible very quickly. There are people with limiting ideas about this, and everyone's entitled to their beliefs, but I can only go by my beliefs of what my experiences are within my mediumship, and this is what I've come across. So as far as I know, it's very quick, and they can communicate very well. So if you've got any more questions, just put them down here. Let me know, if you do have any more questions. Can anyone be a medium, or are there? I'm just trying to understand this. Basically, can anyone be a medium? I believe anyone can be a psychic. And that means you can have a psychic faculty and you can use your feelings to feel into other people. And I do feel that everyone can have a mediumship experience, which means you can be aware of the spirit world, but to a certain degree. It's like if I say with mediumship, like everyone can, everyone can play football, but not everyone's going to be able to play football to that highest standard that's possible to get into a football team. Right, so everyone may have the possibility to have some sort of experience with mediumship, but not everyone is going to have that. Be able to take that to that highest level of mediumship, to be doing platform mediumship, to be working in churches, to be of service, and that sort of thing. That takes a certain part of talent that's in the person, and commitment, and a lot of practice and dedication for someone to get to that level. Just like in any other thing, I mean, you can't expect, you've kicked a football around a couple of weeks and you think, now I'm a football player. No, look at the rigorous training they have to go through. Look at all the things they have to do, the fitness, the eating, the diet, the stuff, all the things they have to do to be able to be at that certain standard. Mediumship is the same. Everyone that takes this on, and if you want to get to a certain level, you have to work at it, and it's very hard work, and you have to work at it. You have to believe in it. You have to do it. You have to continually, follow your progression within yourself and your progression within who you are, and know, is this for me? Right. So can anyone be a medium? I'd say everyone can be psychic, everyone can have a mediumship experience, but your soul, when you touch mediumship, when we touch mediumship, it will progress. And if it progresses quickly, then that means there's a talent there that can open up. But even then, you need to work at it. And it's many, many years. Well, I'll say many years. I'll say at minimal 3 years practicing until you can have, like I'd say, a certain standard of mediumship. And in some cases, that would be 5 years. So it's like dedication. You can't. It's not something that you can do overnight. So just like anything else, you've got to work hard at it. So can anyone be a medium? No, I don't think so. I think everyone can have a mediumship experience, or they can have a psychic experience. But I feel that some people do have a certain gift. Like, I mean, everyone can play the piano, maybe play chopsticks. Beethoven was something else. Not everyone's going to be that. I see some people are agreeing with me, which is good. And just happens to be playing the piano. So that's quite interesting. I got another one. How do you tell if you are a medium? Well, that's when the person that's asked this question is probably doubting about their mediumship and probably doubting about, should I go down this path? And it's like, how do you tell if you're a medium? Well, you have experiences. For me, I can only speak over personal experiences. I started becoming, when I started this, I wanted to be a healer. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do healing. And before I knew it, was all these spirit people standing behind me. And I wondered, what am I going to do with these people? So I went to my Reiki master and I said, I've got all these people standing behind me. And they said, my Reiki master said to me, that's not my job. I don't teach that. I teach healing. I said, but where do I go with them? And he said, you need to find a medium. So, the experiences that you have with the spirit world, they normally come in certain ways and they let you know that they're around. And when they come, you're like, okay, this means that there's mediumship within me. When your soul feels, and this is the thing, because I feel it's a calling, when your soul feels it's time to move into mediumship, it will move into mediumship. Because you'll be called to do it. You'll suddenly be called and you think, oh, I need to go to a circle, or I need to investigate mediumship. I need to go and see a medium. And one thing leads to another. So, and as you travel that journey of, you'll end up maybe trying it, learning in a workshop, having a go at it, and seeing if that resonates with you, if that works for you, if you actually move into that mediumship, then it will. But how can you tell if you're a medium? Well, through practice, through sitting in the power, through working hard at it. And when you actually find out that, okay, it works, that's when you can say, okay, I'm a medium. And for some people that could take 1 week, and they're like, wow, I'm a medium. I know it. My life has changed. That was a bit like me. I went to the Arthur Findlay and I thought, wow, oh my God, my life has changed. I'm totally different. Something happened. It was like, wow, the door opened to a brand new world, because it was 7 days a week working hard in the at the Arthur Findlay as a student, and it was amazing. And then doors opened to me. So within a week, I was convinced of my ability in mediumship. Other people probably need a year. It's everyone's different. So that, I hope that answers your question. I see that Nancy has written here that she had a strange encounter with a bird when she was 23. That's when her gifts open up. A certain sign can happen in your life. I remember going to a spiritual bookshop myself, and then suddenly I walked past a certain book and I said, shall I buy it or not? And it suddenly just almost fell into my hand. And when I picked it up and I read those words, I was like, oh my God, I was really supposed to read this book. It's like the little breadcrumbs that have been left to guide you down the path that you need to walk. That's the way it is. I see Sarah wrote, I believe anyone can touch with their own spirit people, but connecting to people's spirit is a talent, like playing the piano or like a painter. Yeah, so it's it's different for everyone. I think that's the main thing that we can get from this, right? Have you any tips for stepping into the power, being as I'm in a wheelchair? So that's interesting, because I talked about a quick way of stepping into the power the other day, and it's like, it's actually, envisioning yourself in light and you step into it. But as this person is in a wheelchair, I would like to say your imagination is amazing. And if you can imagine you actually standing up in a light and believing that you're standing in the power, and this could work for anyone, not just for people in wheelchairs, you suddenly can feel an empowerment and a movement of soul when it happens. So when you're just sitting here, if anyone's sitting here, you can just imagine that you're sitting here and your body is made of light, and suddenly you're standing up in the light and you feel that beautiful connection with spirit, and you just feel a shift. Now that's what I'm talking about, stepping into the power. It's just this is just a small experience of it. I normally do it a little bit more. I talk a little bit more about it, but it's just that you feel yourself shifting to the spirit world, and stepping into the power is something that you can do, like when you're doing demonstrates mediumship. You're sitting down to start with, and you imagine yourself stepping into the power as you stand up. So for someone that's in a wheelchair, imagine yourself doing that, but still staying seated. So I hope that helps you and answers your question. So I hope that's good for you. So, but the imagination is wonderful. So I must say that if you imagine it, you can become it. And if you imagine that something's going to happen, it will happen. So it's like energy follows thought, and thought follows energy, right? To this very day, I have a weird bird experiences, and now my friends, family see it, so I don't feel I'm crazy. I hear you, Nancy. I mean, I have different like animals for different people that have passed the spirit world, and when they come by, I always think very dearly of them. And it's like amazing. One year, that many family members had the same experience with the same animal. You have it with a bird, and it was like such a coincidence that everyone had it on the same day, and pretty amazing, these signals and signs that spirit is around us. Because of my theatre experience, I envision a big cosmic follow spot hitting me. Well, I mean, if it works for you, and you enjoy it, that's a good thing. So I'm not seeing many of your questions. So if you've got any more questions, put them down, because otherwise I'm just going to keep going through these ones. But if you've got any questions about mediumship, I've got quite an interesting one about the power, which is of a lady that says, when raising your power, you raise your frequency. And she said, but what if your frequency can have an effect on others? And what if that frequency touches others that could have a physical effect on them? And what if it wasn't nice for that person, right? What would you do then? And I had that in my experience when I was working as a male nurse in nursing, and when I sat in the power and then I went to my work, I'm all powered up and energized, and I worked with people quite delicate with Alzheimer's and dementia. And when my energy was very high and very quite big and outstanding, they would get totally, like they'd had 10 cups of coffee. They'd be it'd be too much for them. So what I had to learn to do was to soften my energy. So I had to turn within and not have an empowerment, like, standing like in the power, in the light and shining my light. I had to turn it back, and I just had to like go within into my compassion and into my softness, and then open up just the compassion and softness. And in changing my energy in that way, they all got really peaceful. And like the whole ward that I was working on, they all got very peaceful when I changed my energy to peace and compassion. So that's how you can change your frequency. If you find that someone is having an effect, people with Alzheimer's and dementia are very sensitive. So they're very sensitive to energy, and they can, feel an effect like that. So also another thing you can do is your energy doesn't need to be out here all the time. If people are having problems with it, I normally would bring mine in a little bit and just make it soft and sit in like sensitivity and compassion. And I find that brings a lot more quietness and a lot more pleasantness to people that are affected by the frequency of the power or your energy. So I hope that answers your question. Have we got any more questions? Hello to the people that have arrived. I see the bird theme is traveling through the thing. Hi, people that arrived. Anyone else got any questions about mediumship, anything like that? Let me know. I remember when I was going through it, I had lots of questions, and then because I've only got another 10 minutes, so I'm glad you are enjoying the experience. Yes, I see that someone's saying they like my experience in the nursing. And I agree. Yes, I mean just in nursing in general, whether it's with Alzheimer's or with people with dementia or with autism. I do have some people in my family that have autism, and I find that changing your energy to softness and compassion just has a lovely effect on them, because they're so sensitive. And understanding is not verbal anymore, it's then energetic. So that's a beautiful thing to do. So mediumship, wonderful thing. I've got another question here. Is there any temperature change when sitting in the power? And that is where some people sit in the power and they have temperature changes. Now, what I find is it depends. With some people, it's different. Some people that sit in the power, I find that that they can feel that suddenly from inside they feel like an ignition of warmth energy moving through them, in quite a big way, and it can feel like, for some ladies, I don't want to upset anyone, like like having hot flushes. If the weather's a bit hot, like it just feels like that, and that's how it can feel. And I explain to them, no, that's not hot flushes, that's the energy shifting from your soul. That's your soul energy's power igniting, and it can feel warm. Now, enough about saying that, because on the other hand, some people feel cold around themselves when sitting in the power, because they get the power going out and suddenly they feel the cold gathering around their feet and gathering around their knees as well. So temperature changes are quite natural. And what I've learned energetically, basically, cold energy is releasing and letting go and making room for more energy, and the warm energy is an energy of it feels to me like soul progression. That's how it feels. So it's quite interesting. And with everyone, it's different. Some people can feel the vibration of energy going through their hands. It's quite electric. They can feel when sitting in the power that it's quite interesting. So it's like there's a lot going on. So it's good to remember that everyone's different in their experience. So anyone got any questions? I don't know. Someone just asked in the other room about there's been a lot of robin slamming going on in the patio door. I don't know about the sign. Maybe you need to get a new patio door. But I do like your humor. Thank you. I don't know about a sign about that, but I feel that some people can follow those sort of signs in some way. I think sometimes it's very nice to put like a little label on your door or something so that the birds are aware of it, so they don't keep banging into it. I think that's more friendly towards the birds. I think it's a sign for you to do something, that maybe put a sign on your patio door to let them know that it's there. Oh yeah, so I'm glad that resonated with you, Marielle, and yeah, it's a beautiful to be able to connect in that way, and I think that's the beauty of being sensitive and being a medium. You can connect to people on that sensitivity, and whether it's people with autism or it's people that can't communicate very well, you can communicate with them energetically, and it's such a beautiful thing. Like, they have a good saying in Canada, it's like holding space for people. And when you hold space for people with autism or any other things like that, it's so beautiful to be able to communicate in that way and just hold them in that compassion and in that love. So I do feel for you. I do hear you. It's uncomfortable when people think I'm going to talk to the dead or read for them every time I see them. I wish people understood we get the need breaks too. Okay, so yeah, it goes with the territory, Nancy. If once people become aware that you can do that, they're like, oh well, you can do that. You can sort your own problems out, right? So why don't you give yourself a reading? That's and it's just that's just the way some people think. I think you just got to accept that that's just the way it is. And you're coming around. I think the most funny thing is I come into a room and I was working as a nurse, and they said, what's your business? And I said, well, actually I'm a medium, and I do this. And they looked at me like, oh my God, can he read my mind? And so I've already felt that. So I say to them, look, when I work as a medium, I pick up stuff when I'm working, but I don't pick anything up when I'm doing normal stuff like working in nursing or working with other people. So I always put people at ease and say, when I'm doing this, I'm just, down to earth doing my own thing and concentrating on work. So I don't pick any information up from around me or from friends or anything like that. And I certainly don't have any connection to the spirit world when I'm doing other work. And then they look at me, oh, okay. Because some people don't understand. And I think really it's for us to be able to bring understanding to people how it works. It's like, can you read my mind? Oh my God. And they go red. And I'm like, look, really, I can't read your mind. I'm not going to read your mind. I certainly don't want to know all the information about you, because just think about it. I'm a man. I'm trying to do my job as it is. Why would I be wanting to read people's minds and do multitasking and stuff like that? I've got it busy enough as it is. I like that. Put a picture of a cat on your glass door, on your patio door. That should help. That should be a good sign. So yeah. So it's wonderful to know that the spirit is there. And as a medium, I think they say also, and I've heard this from my mentors that have taught me in the past, it can be a lonely path. It can be a lonely path because not everyone's going to understand you. Not everyone's going to understand that you're a medium. Not everyone's going to understand how you perceive it and how you do it. So it's really up to us to give a good explanation of what we do down to earth, so that people can feel a bit more at ease. I know that when I mix with my neighbors here, they all know what I do. But when I mix with them, in the beginning, I had to just say to them, said, look, I'm here now. I don't do anything when I'm here. It's all down to earth, and we talk about stuff. And one of my neighbors came up to me and he said, you do all that mediumship stuff. And you do all that healing stuff. He said, "You're not very hairy fairy, are you?" And I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "I'm actually quite down to earth." Oh, I quite like that about you. I like that about you. So that's something that, that really resonated with him. He thought because I could talk to him on his level. So I want to thank you all for coming. Obviously, I see there's not many questions. If you do have any more questions, please write them in here. Let me know, and I shall answer them next week for the next medium chat. Again, at 5 o'clock on Thursdays, mediumship chat coming up next week. So don't forget that. Also, tomorrow at 5 o'clock on YouTube, I'm going to be doing a little question and answer thing, and maybe a little power exercise tomorrow as well, live on YouTube, which I'll put the link up sometime today. And it was my first time last week, and it worked. So I look forward to seeing anyone that wants to log in tomorrow at 5 o'clock Amsterdam time, which is basically the same time as this one began. So yeah, I'm glad some people are resonating with what I've said, and I'm glad you're really understanding that. So that's good. But yeah, so I really like to say to you all, thank you for coming. And any questions about mediumship, write them in here. Give me a week to write them all down. Write them under here in the comments. I'll get to them next week, 5 o'clock. Send me them via the email, jasongoldsworthy.com. info@jasongoldsworthy.com, or you can send me a message via Facebook just to let me know what your questions are, or you can also put them in here for the questions as well, and I will see them. But don't forget tomorrow, YouTube, and we will do a lovely YouTube live with another little power exercise that is not only good for mediums, but it's also good for other people as well. So thank you very much for watching.